What is going on? It is your boy, Izlogic.business. We're going over the series that has only just finished, Golden Guardians PSG. We've got 3 games to talk about here, as it's a best of 5. So, what do you know? Will we see that trademark 3-game finish, or 1 game, or 2-game finishes? We've been seeing 2-0s all through this tournament. 3-0 kind of is looking pretty much the main option for this series. As bans come in, PSG yesterday won out in very slow, methodical fashion. So Golden Guardians, they're throwing out bans at the Aphelios that was picked up by Wacko to find their success yesterday. They're also removing the Yanni, which I'm surprised they're doing because PSG haven't shown that they play that pick. And on top of that, Rakan and the Lucian ban out from PSG. Stixxay's big pick so far in this tournament has been removed from the field of play. Now, what I will say, PSG haven't been banning out this Kennen that has been played so prevalently by Golden Guardians. In fact, a lot of the bans so far from PSG are very against the grain of the meta. Kennen, Lucian, Kennen and Annie been predominantly red side bans, whereas the bans that Golden Guardians are doing are just bizarre as well because they are the red side counters. But I get why Golden Guardians are banning it out. It means that PSG can't respond with a Vi, with a Annie themselves, so they remove it from the field. What that does lead into is the Kennen first pick. Big amounts of AoE damage the champion can do, and I probably expect something safe in the top lane, like a Cassante, to kind of deal with it. Now, if the Cassante was on the Golden Guardians side of the Rift, I would have expected it to flex between mid and top, but obviously it's mainly a Gory champion. Now here, PSG are realizing, well, Vi has been banned out, so going for a Zeri is very safe, but they're actually going to flip it up. Go for an Ezreal, which is kind of a surprise pickup here, as no one has really been playing this pick in the current meta. I guess you can say Mad Lions with Kazi has been playing it in the LEC to win that championship. But it's not a pick that you necessarily will go to in terms of that bot lane with the likes of the Jinx up and available as well. Now, Golden Guardians' response is to lock in their top half of the map with the Viego and Yari coming through. And if you look at the damage split that Golden Guardians have there, it's AD jungle, AP laners. That's huge because you can split the lanes in terms of where you're going to go. Is jungle going to go top to invest time into Licorice, which Golden Guardians have done, or is he going to go into Gory to unlock his roam game? There's a lot of different options that this Viego gives to the Golden Guardians, and I like the draft so far from them. Now, heading into the ban phase here, expect some targeted things thrown down towards the bot lane from PSG, as they have their full bot lane locked in that has a lot of poke. Karma's Ezreal is one of them bot lanes you dread playing into because it's so aggressive and they don't put themselves at risk with their huge amount of poke. The mantra-powered Qs from Karma, just a devastating early. You expect PSG to probably index some time down there with whatever jungler they get. Now what we do find out is it's not going to be a Kindred down the bot lane, and it's probably, what would be a good pickup here for PSG in the jungle? Jarvan, just comes to mind. Wukong, Sedge are all up and available. Get some big beefy frontliners to protect that Carpenter and Ezreal thrown in the poke. What we do see is Gold Guardian's probably going to throw a ban towards the Lissandra here in that mid lane. It's actually not, it's going to be the Galio. Bit of a surprise one there. There's Yubao. Was he the one who played it yesterday, or was that Loud? I know there was a Galio yesterday. Whether or not it was one of them two, I don't remember. It may have even been the Golden Guardians, who knows. But yeah, we're going to get 3 games of this series at least. And draft so far is a bit more bizarre than what we've seen all tournament. I mean, Golden Guardian's draft is very stock standard, whereas PSG are just throwing the gauntlet down. And never mind PSG, you're not the only ones going crazy in the bot lane. Kaiser locked in with a set. I mean, Set is less crazy because it's who he has played this champion already in the bot lane. And it does inspire me to want to play this pick myself. Now, Stixxay as a whole, you wouldn't really assume he'd go towards a Kaiser in this tournament. Jinx is obviously very big. For him, Zeri as well, he's popped off on that pick, getting a pentakill. And that's a Kha'Zix. River isn't the only one who's pulling out this pick in this tournament. Was it River who pulled it out? I'm honestly losing my mind with what picks have been played, but I know it's either him or Thingy Bobby who plays for G2. Yikes. Will this be a yikes situation though? Only time will tell for PSG because you've got a lot of squishy members, and GG, they do have the potential to burst you out very quickly with the cannon. With the Viego jumping on top of you, you're gonna really need to have the Cassante peel with Lissandra away all of this big engage. Options for Golden Guardians, because Huhi is known for playing Sat in an aggressive manner, getting behind you, sneaking into positions where he can just use the showstopper and bring the targets he wants into his team. And I think he'll probably be looking at the Karma and Ezreal as possible targets to kill, as they are very squishy. Look at how many MSI jerseys, hoodies
very
are.
comfortable and
I definitely haven't ordered
champion, but Vedi, I love the thing called that.
No, I wanted to get something cool for MSI, and I'll probably end up wearing it to the tournament. Who knows? I'm unsure of what I'm wearing. I may even wear one of the flying jerseys in the background of today's stream. So, we'll get on to the riff for game number 1, and Golden Guardians TSM modes already. 2. He's got 2 of them. 2 for the 2 for the 2 for the 2 for the River and EG 100. Are we just seeing every we're seeing every single organization just being repped here by Golden Guardians. Gory flashing them all up, and today River's just got TSM on his mind. Anyway, let's take a look at the ruins. It's gonna be first strike Kha'Zix. Clearly leads me to believe that Ginger wants to go make early plays, get onto the riff, gank for his lanes, and keep them in an advantageous position. On the other side of the riff, it will be surprisingly lethal tempo on that Kaiser. We haven't seen Kaiser at all this year, I feel. She's kind of fallen out of favor for a lot of ADCs, with the hyper carry Jinx and Zeri taking her place as a whole. And right now, this bot lane is very 2018, 2019-esque. Just a lot of different options to come through from the Golden Guardians, where they just want to dive heavily onto you and aggress lane, whereas you just get poked out by a camera Ezreal, as we're seeing right now. Never mind. Bit of a glitch there in the graphics. There's a River is in a good position here to go make a gank. They're waiting, good flash forward, gonna get the pull back onto the camera, ignited down, and look at River. He's just ignoring the Ezreal straight onto Woody, gonna land Spectral Mode, Kaiser W lands, and that's first blood over to Golden Guardians. Almost dying there is River at the end of it because he ignored the big damage dealer, and that's a lot of summoners, but level 2, and wow. 3 minutes in, that bot lane has been put in favor of the Golden Guardians. They're, granted, probably not going to reset it, or reset, I should say, until the wave crashes in, but we watch it again. It's just hoo-hee. Simply put, Flash, E, gets the pullback, the slow, ignites ticking down on Makama, so she isn't really able to heal up with the health bot she's put down, but this great W out from River, secures the kill as he transforms into Makama to give himself that shielding, survives the Ezreal, and I think the fact that River is able to survive that, it does mean essentially that this bot lane is in a bit more of a good state for the Golden Guardians, having not withstood, well, given over goal to the Ezreal, even though a small CS lead has been accrued for him. Look at the items that have just been picked up for Stixxay as mid lane. Just going to be some heavy trading between the laners. 2 long boy swords are in the inventory of the Kaiser. And it's been a while since I've seen a Kaiser, so I'm not entirely sure of what she will build. I mean, Immortal Shield Bow comes to mind with the build. I don't know, because obviously Kaiser gets buffs on her spells if she evolves them. So she probably, I mean, the W is a lot of damage if she invests like Nash's Tooth and something else to kind of get herself that item. I dare say though it will be a mainly AD orientated build, like the Immortal Shield Bow come through. Kraken Slayer also was a good option, as just constantly Gory lands these charms, forcing the Corrupting Pot stacks out from Yubao. Makes it harder for him to kind of sustain through this lane. Now, what we have seen here is PSG make a small adaptation bot side. Getting a ward into the Tribush there means that the play that River just made to secure first blood becomes less and less impactful, especially now that the Ezreal Kama has acid. That was a bit of a weird glitch, but they've kind of ascertained for themselves, push back in under this turret, and PSG possibly look for the early Drake. We have 6 minutes on the clock, and they are starting this one up. As Ginger, we've kind of said he needed or wanted to play for these ganks, but he's been very, very quiet so far on the Rift, just farming himself up to an 8 CS lead over River, who obviously was playing more for his lanes. Now, Drake is going to fall here in favor of PSG, and this is good for them. We spoke yesterday about how PSG used the Drake to kind of get them to the late game, where they force the fights around their power spikes, and the fact that they've already gotten for themselves 1 early Drake 7 minutes into the game means that Drake's soul will be about 22 minutes in. I believe I can do math correctly because it's 5 minutes per Drake, 20, well, 27
very-
The
minutes.
strongest competition
I'm
just
5
yet, you know?
minutes.
No, but very touch and go. I
wait,
think
am I
you saw
wrong?
there's a potential for a bot side dive after
First
the
Drake
Dragon
at
dropped the
7.
stick that was backing off that turret.
Second
PSG
Drake
they go
at
for a reset
12.
during the time. River was
Third
working down a lot of
Drake.
folks on
Yeah,
the top
22
side,
minutes.
leading the
Never
way with red
mind.
buff for that
Good
commitment
job,
as
me.
well, getting some deep wards
Out in
down
the
there.
back. I can do math. I have to work it out because I'm not confident in my math. But hey ho, Drake Soul probably will be impactful this game, considering Chemtank Soul, Chemtank and Cloud are the two predetermining Drakes that spawn. So we will be seeing either an ocean, mountain, or the fire one. I forget its name. Infernal. That's its name. Hextech's also an option for Soul. Mid lane, Woody making his presence known, getting an early roam is good for a support. It means that your presence is known by mid laner, and your willingness to make roams in this economy just means that Gory has to play a little bit safer. That being said, PSG are going to give up Herald to Golden Guardians, and that's surprising considering the roam up from Woody, but we do have to realize who he was matching said roam. Now, the good thing about the PSG bot lane is Woody can be afforded these roams because Ezreal very safe in terms of his farm. He can just use his Qs, get an auto in, and boom, minion dies. Pretty much the stock standard way to play Ezreal. And as he's doing that, because he's got his tier, as well as his Sheen, he's going to be proccing a lot of damage off, as well as stacking up the tier to get to his Manamune, which probably will be his first item. Obviously, Ezreal's used that on-hit bonus from the Qs, proccing off the Manamune of rare mana, basically gets him in a good position, and Kha'Zix makes, well, hovered round bot as, once again, set goes forward, flash for flash trade, always beneficial to the one with Hex Flash, and Woody now has to play safer than what he was, because who he will obviously be looking to get behind the target and flash on top of them yet again. And just looking at what's been picked up by Huhi on this bag, clearly he wants to chase down targets. Picking up stone plating boots as his first item just indicates he wants to make plays. And as a whole, I think that nullifies what Junjai wants to do, because let's be honest, this Kha'Zix has been tempered. It's not been able to get anything on this rift, and Huhi is just going into his jungle fully aware of the positioning of this Kha'Zix, and as such, this bot side map is lit up like a Christmas tree by Golden Guardians, and Kha'Zix just is going to struggle to get any pressure in this bottom half of the map. Now, that being said, Golden Guardians are going to crack open the mid lane tier 1, get a few turret plates into Gory's back pocket, and I forgot to mention, or I didn't realize at the time, but Kha'Zix has gone for the glaive first. I forget it, Umbral Glaive, that's his name. Meaning, he's able to clear out these wards rapidly quick. Obviously, melee champions do 3 stacks instead of the 2 that range do. This was kind of a nerf to the likes of the Ashe, that realistically was just popping this item like mad in the bot lane, making it very impactful. As mid lane, we are seeing Yubao getting caught out by River, stunned, locked up. There's a trade for Drake as Lissandra falls on the rest.
Stolen soul of Lissandra won't find that ring of frost. 2 dragons to PSG, 2 kills to Golden Guardian.
Frankly, just a massive overstep from Yubao. Like, he was trying to interrupt the back of Gory there and disrespecting the possibility that River may be hovering around mid, ends up giving away a free kill.
Nothing
that I think they really didn't need to.
really
Especially
is
given the context
surprising
that
me
you know
right
you're getting a
now
free
in this
dragon.
game.
Like,
Yeah.
the jungler's not hovering around the dragon. Maybe he's over the wall
need
looking
to
for
admit
a
it
steal, but they had
that
good vision to know that was not the case.
essentially
Big
Golden
mistake there by you about
Guardians
handing a kill over to Gory, continuing
trying to
that lead.
accelerate the tempo
Now up
by
about
getting these
700
kills,
gold for Gory.
burning Summoner's
Wolves
bot side,
immediately picked up as
just
well.
Yeah,
honestly
huge
trying to
power
fight
strike. I will
this
say for
PSG
the
squad.
grace is the dragon
As
stacking is
yesterday
something
we
they love to do.
talked
The
about
overall
and
pace of play
discussed
has not
just
been
how
great.
slow
2,000 gold
PSG
Golden
made
Guardians
the
in
games
Video 5.
to a controlled tempo.
Before bracket stage.
It,
This
in
is a little bit more
essence,
reminiscent of what you see in
makes
BO5s that
games feel
MSI
boring.
Worlds of years gone by. It's
But
slow, it's tentative, it's
They
a little
do
bit
it in
more,
a very good fashion
pensive.
that
And in
allows
comparison
them
a lot
to
of the dudes
scale
we've
to
seen
late
throughout the
game.
last few
And
days, it
I'm
is
slightly
definitely a
concerned this game
Well, like we
with
said, PSG
the
is the
Kha'Zix
lowest combined
pickup
kills per minute
for
team
them.
in the entire
As
tournament.
this
So
champion
it's no
does
surprise they're taking it slow.
relatively
Even their series
do
yesterday
well
was kind of like that.
right now.
earlier
Will get
in the
chunked
game
out
as
just
the
a
fight
little.
comes through.
River's Heartbreaker's available to him.
I'm
Was
honestly
moving from mid lane, but
surprised
again,
that
no further
Kha'Zix was
engaged.
the
There wasn't
choice
enough,
for
support for River.
Junjai
So
in
he
the
just
jungle,
did a little
as he's
damage
really
back away.
been
And
mainly
again,
playing
PSG is
tanks.
doing a great job when it comes to this
Now,
control. They have wards
I
littered
will
around the
say
bot side of the
this,
map. They have so much control, so much
Kha'Zix
safety, so much
can
security
and will
that, they allow
be able to
Wacko
burst
and
out
Freddy to
targets
just
inside
continue to
lane.
secure these plates
There's
and build
still
advantages
that
in the bot
option
lane
for him.
Right, exactly. Despite that kind
And
of first blood that came in down
it
there,
just
it is still a
surprises
pretty
me
hefty gold lead.
that he hasn't been able to
700
get
now
much
for
done on the
Wacko,
Rift.
gonna get a little bit
In
bigger
fact,
once
he
finally
is
drops the first turn of
behind
the game
the
in favor of
Viego
PSG.
in terms of the
Super
gold,
quickly,
even though he has a slight CS lead. Now, turret plates are even across both teams. 4 plates picked up, and it's pretty surprising considering how the map state is. And we haven't really discussed it yet, but topside already has a massive lead. I'm surprised I timed that so well. But yeah, Licorice has been left in isolation, fully stacked his pull-up, and has just generated a 1k goal lead on his own. The CSD is like 16 or so in the top side. I am wrong, it's about 24 CSD once the wave gets cleaned up here. But yeah, it's a huge difference up there. He's generated for himself a 1.1k goal lead. And that's solely off just CS and gold. It's really hard for PSG now, I think, to deal with the cannon, unless Junjai makes a gank up there, because that's really the only place you could get like a shutdown on the lane and control it. However, Kha'Zix is very squishy, and so if he goes up there, Kennen can just pop the slicing maelstrom and make the fight just a foregone conclusion in favor of Golden Guardians. And what's more, just look at the vision investation by the Golden Guardians up top. You've got one ward here in the entranceway from red. You got one down here to basically not allow river access to the top half of the map. It's clever from the Golden Guardians. It means that there's only one place that Junjai can go in order to get a play topside, and that's either through lane or through this side here. There's no vision for Licorice. Now, I will say Kha'Zix technically has some reason to be topside because all of his camps are down. Herald's not up for another 3 minutes. Or Baron, I should say, is not up for another 3 minutes. Herald was picked up by River, who is hovering around this river, looking for a chance to put it down. And so, I like what PSG, well, Golden Guardians are doing right now. They're threatening the mid lane with the Herald,
Dragon
and
has
then
been started
just
there,
backing
baby.
off into the
Oh
fog
boy,
of
you guys
war,
aren't ready for this.
claiming
You
the
guys aren't
straight.
ready for the trade mid
Does that mean it's the best
This
play
is just pure
for
concession
PSG
right
to
now.
give this up?
Bungia will fire out
Absolutely.
the missiles for now. Dragon
They want to
soloed
stall
by
the
River.
game
Tower
out, so they're
just
happy
about
with
to fall.
Golden
Frozen
Guardians
two
getting
forward.
that, as
Gory is in trouble. Forced to
Huhi
finish.
goes in,
Spur
that's a
rushes away.
massive
The shield
ultimate
is huge for
showstopper,
Huhi.
and the
Hammer
haymaker
slicing
combo
Maelstrom
allows Licorice to
gets
come
another
flashing
kill
in,
for the Golden
bursting out the
Guardians.
targets.
Follow back.
It's
As
going to
well
be
as
2
Wacko's
kills
got a
over,
second.
make
And
that
now the
3,
third of the fight goes
as
to the
Golden
It's a
Guardians
slightly
get
chaotic start. 2-for-1 in favor
absolutely
of the
everything they
Guardians.
want out of
What
that
looked
play.
like a great play out of PSG to just sack
So,
Dragon Force mid, get the turret, and keep
I like the play
scaling.
out
They get
from
baited into going on the
PSG.
Gory. They will actually finish that
You
turret
trade
off,
mid
but
lane
a nice
tier
fight out of the Golden
1
Guardians will allow
for
us to even
Drake.
out the mid lane turrets there.
I mean, it's literally a
It's
fight
a
on 3
bit
different fronts.
unfortunate
It's
that
River, Tower, and the
you-
flank over the wall.
they lose
Dragon
2
was guarded,
members
secured by the
instead,
Guardians.
not
The tower
3.
goes to PSG.
But you lose
So
2
yeah,
members,
positive, you
and
have to
that
be a
essentially
little bit
means
more
Herald
SCS
gets the
favorites.
crash
It
into
still
the tier
feels good for
1
both
mid.
teams. I think at the
So,
end of the day, Golden Guardians stops the Dragon
inevitably,
PSG. They're able to grab the
a
mid lane turret,
winning
they win the
trade
fight.
for
But at the
Drake
same time,
for
PSG did
turret
not lose too much. Initially,
ends
looked
up in
like
an
a clean pickoff,
even
especially on
trade,
the Gory with
as
the
it's just a
flash
flash
all
over
combo, the Everfrost
from
follow-up on the
Lysandra,
end of it.
rooting down
Gory,
Gory, but he doesn't have enough burst there. Do you know someone who does have enough burst? It's Licorice, able to just pop Junjai. Yes, it's a 1-for-1 trade at that point, as Huhi dies, but there's still the last casualty of Ozzy falling over to Golden Guardians. Now we sit with somehow a fairly even state of the map, with the gold only being a 1k difference, even though it feels like Golden Guardians have been getting the better of these fights. They've just not been pressing the map like PSG have. The first turret goal went over to PSG. They got the bot lane tier 1, and a lot of that gold is sat in Ezreal's back pocket. Wacko clearly has an advantage, and if you're the Golden Guardians, you clearly want to kind of negate what he's got for himself. So, 30 seconds until Baron is on the table. We're going to see all these wards, the vision cleared out from behind the pit, as well as in it. What's more, River is looking for Yubao. Gonna force him off this top lane tier 1. And that should be gold into Gory's back pocket, as he's going to clear that turret's HP bar, claim that for himself. And PSG even up the turret count and extend their gold lead ever so slightly.
Going big picture, looking at the rest of the series based off game 1, this is why people were kind of debating, is it PSG or Golden Guardians who are going to get the last slot into this event. And then it kind of
taking interesters, we're going to see a dive onto River. Going to be forced to flash away from that, as Ari charging in puts a bit of shit down onto Wacko. It's going to be fine, as realistically speaking, that was a TP burn and a flash for nothing on the PSG side of it. That was very good from PSG to reserve their spells. Now what I will say is Drake is spawning in minute 20. We're going to probably see some pathing down there by these two teams in the near future. But what I will say, PSG have set up down there, and in fact looking to collapse onto Licorice. He does have Banshees, still not popped, finally has been. All out comes through, and that's just because Sante's health bar deleted. Arzix takes the shutdown goal
Nice trade there by
Licorice.
Licorice after getting collapsed on top of finishing off Asha before Junji would get in
Dashing
range.
forward, it's going to be the Ari. She looks to have caught Yubao out, cleanses burn. A lot of damage to W does not land from Viego, so no trade of kills on the other side of the map is going to come through for the Golden Guardians. But what I will say is, Golden Guardians get to continue to pressure topside and continue to aggro play this game.
Very 2-3-4
And
item team.
what I will say is
Relatively
here,
confident. Golden Guardians is
Licorice
a well-rounded team in the sense that they have
does
a lot
so
of
much
carry,
damage.
as you see Licorice getting
He's
this
able
number
to
one
kill
here.
off
They
Ozzy,
have interesting drafts,
and
generally
while
good team
Junjai
fighting.
does
But
get
I think
the
that's also
shutdown
PSG's strength.
goal
They have seemed to get
and
better the longer
some
these games go on. both
semblance
domestically
of
and in this
regain
tournament.
into
So
this
it's definitely
game,
going into the wheelhouse of what
you have to
PSG
feel
will
that
do.
Licorice
Dragon has been started
knows
by
how
PSG.
powerful he
I
is. He
saw
didn't
in
burn his
game
flash.
Licorice pinging
And
his ultimate still about
this
20
is
seconds
very
away, but
ballsy
Golden
out from the
Guardians
Golden
making the choice to
Guardians,
force the Baron.
looking
PSG
to
recognize
trade
that this is
Drake
happening and they're looking to try
for
and respond.
Baron.
Junjia has now
Down to a
arrived,
half
and
HP,
this will actually
and they've
force
managed to
PSG
pull
off the
all
neutral.
the members that
Now
were
that Aja
starting
doesn't
up
have
that
the
Drake
teleport, so
off
they're
of
not
it.
going to take the gamble and have him solo it.
For the fight, Charm
They
a
pull off
little
themselves
short.
from the Baron.
Tank potential is there for Huhi, trying to find that angle while Junja's on the dragon.
I do think
Junjai
you could just send
has
Rocco there,
made
though. If
his
you're really
way
that
back
concerned,
down
he
to
does
the
still
objective.
have the TP.
And
Ezreal
so
shouldn't have an issue
this
when it comes
probably
to
will
soloing.
go
This
into
is
PSG
really
as
for a fight.
Golden Guardians just diving onto the Cassante. Not realistically the best target to be killing out. He is very bulky. And back we go to the Baron pit. There's still vision in there for PSG. They know what Golden Guardians are wanting to do. But as the Drake falls, Soul Point has been picked up. There goes a true shot barrage, trying to spot out if Golden Guardians are on the objective. They're not, so this on-shield fight can come through as Junjai looks to have been caught out by Seth. Now, this is actually really good for PSG. They've got the inside track on this mid lane, looking to crash into the tier 2 as Wacko, very far forward, could honestly get caught out. He's actually separated from his team right now, finally getting back to them. And so PSG continue to push in this tier into this tier 2 mid. And what I will say, this engage coming out from Huhi, he was waiting in the backside to try and make play, is going to have to flash to avoid his own demise. As a whole, the game is in a crazy state. Is just fighting for nothing is what we're seeing. Licorice going to pass down bot, is on vision, and so he is going to just
or we need to use it to get this Baron down. They weren't expecting, I think, PSG to just immediately sack the dragon and then come contest
the
it.
jungle
So in a
camps.
5v5 mid, they try
Never
and find,
mind.
they try
He's
to
not
find
even
the
gonna
fight.
go
This
mid.
is something we were talking about earlier. PSG
But
have great
River
range and poke that they
he's
can
caught
leverage.
Junjai out. Here comes a charm forward from Ari, and that's the first kill of the fight over to the Golden Guardians as the jungle has been caught, as well as the ADC shut down onto the Ezreal, and that is Golden Guardians heading straight to the Baron.
Heads up play by River there, never actually reset,
wow.
Staying in there the entire time.
Just like that, this game is feels done. You've lost your carries. Baron is going to go to Golden Guardians off of that. And that basically feels like all the semblance of advantage that PSG had accrued in that bot lane is gone. Ezreal is out of it now. Stixay picks up the kill as well and has finally got himself a bounty. We'll probably end up seeing this again, because that just seems bizarre. Yeah, Junjai stepping up without any vision control just gets absolutely deleted by Stixay, who comes in with the killer instinct. Then it's just flash forward into Kha'Zix's isolation Q damage mode. Licorice gonna be caught by Kha'Zix. Slicing motion comes through. He somehow gets the stun onto the Kha'Zix, who steps way too far forward. Azzy's gonna kill off Licorice in the backside, but PSG, you're gonna have to retreat as the kills are in the bag for themselves. They're looking to get away with one Baron less on the side of the Golden Guardians. But GG, still pressing forward. They have the big purple worm buff. They got themselves a tier 1 in the bot side of the rift. They're continuing forward to try and get this tier 2. Bags are being cancelled. They're stepping forward, charging, using this cannon minion's range to chip away at this turret. Obviously, with Wacko on that side of the rift, he's able to just kill off the cannons with his Qs. But the dive comes through. Set is on the backside. Showstopper onto Arzi. Pulls him into his team, but that's going to be the Q3 pulling back Golden Guardian's health bars. But the isolated Icathian rain kills off Wacko. And what do you know, PSG, you lose your ADC once again, and this cannon minion is just going to take away this tier 2 one. It's tier 2 turret's health bar. PSG, in the last 2 minutes, have kind of just fallen apart. They've lost any sort of control, and you have to put your fingers down at that bot lane. Ezreal just has been caught twice in silly situations. Wacko, I will say this right now, you are the main carry for this PSG lineup. And right now, you need to play with a bit more safety. You're on a safe carry for all possibilities. You can use your E. The arcane shift away, the flash is also there as a tool, but you're unable to. And so, PSG are on the back foot, losing this inhibitor turret in the mid lane, probably losing the inhib on top of it. Golden Guardians looking dominant after 2 misplays out from PSG. Definitely see some disadvantages in the draft so far, because Kha'Zix just has been unable to get anything done. Drake will be started up by Golden Guardians. They're in fact just going to secure it with no contest. And Drake Soul will have to wait for another 5 minutes for PSG as the second Drake goes over to Golden Guardians.
I think the Golden Guardians have
that
one of the things I felt that we saw in their finals against Cloud9 was that they could get these leads, but sometimes it could be challenging.
The Kha'Zix build really intrigues me, yeah.
And I think that throughout this tournament, especially, we've seen them grow and develop.
I get you want to burst out targets and get on top of them, but
as long as they can get that early game better under control, and they believe in their ability to close out.
I would honestly have preferred a Ghost Blade or Dust Blade for your Mythic. It just gives you the ability to use your ultimate's damage a bit more. I mean, Eclipse is still good, but for what you want to be doing on this pick, you want to be sneaking around, getting some speed into backline, and then jumping on your targets that you want to burst out. From what we've seen from this pick, he's really not been able to do that. And the ultimate should just be able to get on top of carries and burst them out quickly. It feels like a very much do or die pick, but you look at the items picked up by the Golden Guardians, they kind of are looking to counter it. The fact that they've got 2 Banshee's Veils on their AP carries, there's a stopwatch now on Stixxay. You can't really burst out the Viego, he also has a stopwatch. And Set's got, it's the Huhi classic of Dead Man's Plate Set. So he's just going to be running at you with a lot of speed. He will probably throw you back into your own team. And so there's no real burstable targets for Ginger. And I think this game just was not the right time to bring out a Kha'Zix. Like, even now, he's trying to stop Gory. He sees that there's a ward there, so he can't go for a play. No, he's back. Like, I mean, you could have got behind them. You were just sat. You could have sat in the brush over there. Like, you're gonna regroup with your team regardless. You could have honestly got a flank position set up and tried to burst out a target as they came back to the objective. But That's also Mikhail's burn. I just realized Karma has Mikhail's, just used it onto Junjai. So basically, this Kha'Zix, if he gets caught out, has no way to get away safely.
I will say Golden Guardians have conceded a lot more space. And
Golden Guardians, though, realizes starting up the Baron, it's going to start to fall down relatively slow. And that's because they're not all hitting it, and they're actually backing away, looking to try and make a fight, as Licorice has gotten the backside, slicing Maelstrom, takes out Wacko's health bar. He has been picked off. Now the damage from PSG is well and truly gone. This Baron should be the Golden Guardians. As, Junjai on the wrong side of the map hasn't been spotted, so there is no real threat there to him. But there is possibly the threat of a Baron steal, as he's going to be able to wrap his way around. He has been found out now and is turned on by the Kaiser, just using the Icathian Rain to take away her health bar. PSG are in a desperate situation. Junjai not even near the Baron, as it's down to 1k health. It's smited and taken by the Golden Guardians, as here comes a re-engage. Junjai forced to jump away as Ari's chasing him down, but on the upper half of the fight, it's going to be the Cassante taking out Licorice. It's such a big amount of damage as PSG are back in the fight. Wacko is here, but he is too late as the double kill goes over to Stixxay. Over the wall goes the PSG carries, and diving forward is Golden Guardians. They're on a triple kill for Stixxay. Make that never mind. It's not the quadra kill, as Gory takes that one to the Golden Guardian side of the rift. TP coming into mid lane on as well. This game is over as PSG falter heavily in this mid game.
It looked like a good opportunity. It looked like it could have
Out
gone so heavily
and out.
in PSG's
Catch
favor.
you by
The Golden
surprise
Guardians stamped
comp.
their
Licorice's
authority. They
TP
stamped their victory,
gave
and they're looking
the
to go
kills
one up
over
in this series.
to
Golden
Golden Guardians,
pick up the
and
first
base
win.
is in tatters.
Best of 5,
as
one
the
step
in
closer
hit
to that
nexus.
bracket
You
stage.
name it,
And
falls.
I'm going to be honest, that was an
Golden
interesting game to watch.
Game
That
one.
final fight, Wacko had a couple
Very
seconds,
clean.
arrived a couple seconds earlier. May
It
have
was the
been able to have
mid-game
more of an impact.
takeover
But
by
definitely not what I was expecting.
Golden Guardians.
Definitely not the
Gave
tempo
them
that I was anticipating. And the way that it
the
ended
win.
was so
Simple as can be. Let's head into game 2, where I'm expecting mass chaos on this rift.
Welcome
As
back
we're into
to
draft
MSI
already,
2023
Golden Guardians
final series
banging out
of the
Ezreal.
stage. We're dropping in hot. Game 2 draft.
I mean, that
PSG
surprises me.
down 0-1.
But they are targeting Wacko's pool. PSG doing smart things, going over to blue side, getting to ban out targets. But Golden Guardians realize after game 1,
Well, I mean, it feels like they are setting
Kennen
up,
and Annie
Golden
aren't
Guardians
really
in one of their
picks
series
that
played one of these
PSG
red
play.
side, leave everything up games. They
And
weren't
I
the one who
think
did it,
that
but they
has
benefited
led
from it. It
to
is
a bad
very
situation
viable strategy on
for
red side to say, yep,
PSG.
screw the OPs.
So,
okay, they do get one respect. They
Golden
do give
Guardians
Kennen
are
OP
going to remove the
respect
Kennen
over, but the
themselves.
O2
But
targeting
Annie
Wacko
left on the
instead,
plate.
who is a
Lucian
great lane
also
base, but
left
a
on the
little
plate.
disappointing in the mid to late game.
A lot of the big
Far
picks that
behind.
Golden Guardians like are possibly going to go through to them. What I will say is,
Feels
Vi
good
is also
when
left
teams
up,
do what the casters
and
say.
that's
No shock.
a
The
big
question is-
pick
You
that
validated.
Junjai has found success on.
I knew it.
But
I knew it.
instead, it's
I
actually
knew it was gonna be the Lucian
PSG
first pick. Like, they
taking
want
the
to make
Lucian
sure
for
that Wacko is
themselves.
on something that has agency and
This is a
something
bit
he
of
is
surprise
comfortable
to
I hope Golden
me,
Guardians did the research
because
it's actually the
we
most
haven't
played
seen it
champion
out from
for
Wacko yet
on
this
the
year.
Yes, obviously
fact,
Golden Guardians do
probably
play a
the
very nice
entirety
version themselves. I
of
hope they did not
the
think
season,
that something
I should
else
say,
was
he
left up. They
hasn't
would
played
grab that
it.
instead. But
Maybe
it is
he
going to be a
has.
Lucian
I don't
they have
know.
to play
I've
into. We'll see
not
what they
got
have
the stats in front
prepared.
of me.
The Vi
Let's get
gets
them
to come
stats in
out,
front
the
of me,
Vi
shall we?
Annie. Okay, so Golden Guardians.
Those are the other OPs.
PSG this year
Congratulations, you got your Lucian. We are now going to pick the
have-
other S tier champions in the meta. And what a duo they've now set up for themselves. Of course, Ari works so very well with Vi because
PSG.
of how easy it is in terms of mobility. The difference in this combo is that it's Annie that has the setup instead of the Vi. So
have
while
had
Vi lands
13
the
games
ultimate
on
into
this
then the
solution.
Ari
Actually,
follow-up,
his most
Annie can
played in
flash
a regular
ult
season
into
for
then the Vi
Wacko.
follow-up. which
is
basically means that this
Lucian,
combo could
then
do
it's
just as much
Aphelios.
destruction in the mid jungle.
And it does play
So,
what Golden Guardians love to do
draft
on
so
red side,
far
which is flex picks. We did see
is
playing
looking
in. Gory can obviously grab it as well, so
pretty
give them
good
the
for
option
PSG.
as this draft progresses to decide
But
if
Golden
they
Guardians,
put it into
they
the,
get
Lucian
themselves the
army,
Vi,
try
they
to
get
maybe
themselves the
lane or something
Annie.
like that.
2 S+ tier picks,
Like
what I
that.
will say.
No me gusta.
And PSG
This is
gonna
much happier for me
respond
because when you take a
by
look
going
at
with
Ginger
the
as a player,
Sedge. That's a
Sejuani is
big
the second
beefy
most played
boy
champion
in the
this year,
front
7
line.
games,
That's
7
gonna
wins.
make
He's
it hard for the Golden
traditionally a bit
Guardians
more
to
of a
kind of
facilitator
get
and
things
engaged
done.
type of jungler. So that carry
But
Kha'Zix is not something
that's
that
an
we associate
aggressive
with how
bot lane
PSG
for
have won throughout the entire
GG.
year. And to answer the
If
question for the bot
Zeri
lane,
and
it's gonna be
Annie
that Zeri.
will
So it could be
look
Zeri
to
Annie,
fight
it could be
you
Zeri
at
plus
any
support, depending on how the rest
opportunity.
of the draft pans out.
My expectations
And
are that
so,
Zeri Lulu will be the priority for the bot lane. I know that during the
we
regular season, the
are
whole world
gonna have
had
to
shook
deal with
Lucian army with
some
Zeri
big
Lulu. Normally
fights.
it's on that
Both
one
teams
true item
matching
spike that Lucian's able to
their
have the
picks in the
advantage.
first
But I
rotation.
wouldn't be surprised to see
Will
the,
we see some
the-
bans thrown topside
what
here
was my
by
look?
PSG?
The Lulu band away.
Got
Thank you,
the
Marcus.
Poppy.
Yeah, I mean, it does. One of the power of the flex picks is any team can ban out those other options.
Some other
which, of course,
things
can
that
just slam the
Cassante,
Annie back down to
also
the
a
bot
big
lane.
pick
I
for
was
Golden
oohing
Guardians.
the Tristana, sorry to distract you, because that
So
is a very
expect
common
it
Golden Guardians
probably
champion, but
banned
they've
out
seen
here in
enough
the
out of
second
you guys to know that
rotation.
they do not want to
Lulu
get that
gonna
one
be
over. It's a
banned
very
out.
impressive double
Obviously,
marksman composition
still
that we've seen out of PSG quite a few
worried
times.
that
Just
the
going heavy
Annie
pushing
is
lanes.
not
And
in the bot
Jinja
lane
on
and
the,
is in fact a
Sejuani
mid-lane
is more
pick.
about stabilizing them, getting vision
Bit
out, which
surprising
he loves to do
as a
so
whole
much,
because
which
I
also speaks
don't
to why
think we've
Kha'Zix
seen
is not
Gory
exactly
play it.
his wheelhouse,
Actually, we
where
saw
you're
him play it
often more
once,
looking
but
to
it is
isolate
mainly
targets, catch the
defaulted
face
down to
checking you,
Huhi
as
in
opposed to
bot
being
lane.
grouped up working front to back division.
Instead
Of
of
course,
the
that Lulu was banned
Cassante
away,
being
so another ding, ding,
picked
ding
up
there, so
by Golden
So
Guardians,
you
they're
wanna pull
banning
him
it
out of there.
themselves.
Cassante, the next ban here from God.
These bans are weird
I mean,
Golden Guardians, because if
It's
I'm
like-
Golden
Yeah.
Guardians, I would have first picked the Cassante
I understand it,
flying
I
top.
mean,
Like it's proven to be a
you
very
kind of
effective
remove a front
answer
line,
for
but
Golden
I
Guardians.
would have
guess they're
thought
arguing we see
that
the
would have been a
support, we
good
can just lock that in
blind
now,
pickable
and then
pick
we'll save counter
here
pick for
in
Licorice, I guess.
R4.
It is something that they've done more in the postseason.
But,
We talked about before Golden Guardians during the regular season.
Instead, it's
Why did they
PSG
ban
banning
Sylas?
out the
Because
Sylas
I'm
and
pretty
the Lulu.
annoyed now, because I was going to say, oh,
Golden
you know, you
Guardians
go for the
banning the
Cassante every Golden
Cassante
Guardians,
and
and
the
then you probably
Triss.
respond to something like the Sylas plus the...
It's understandable.
well,
I think you're
Sejuani
probably
makes
going to
sense.
get an
Especially with the
AP mid
Tristana
here
ban,
for
oftentimes if you're playing Tristana, you don't want to play it into
Gory.
a Sylas, but instead both of them are already banned.
Or
Very
it's just
weird.
gonna
Now
be
you get
the
the Poppy
tank
first
Poppy.
pick, so your little
I'm
theory.
so confused.
Frontline
I
ahoy
love it
for
when I get
Golden
to predict
Guardians
things,
here.
and it
They've
makes me
got
feel
a lot
validated. You get the
of
Lulu right, and instantly everything else
tankiness
goes
on that
wrong.
lineup.
I'm so confused, because the thing about the Sylas is it also suggests that PSG are concerned about the Annie actually
So-
going into the support position, which by locking in the top
How
lane
do
now, which is why I
PSG
also think
respond?
Cassante
They
could
need a
have
top,
made
they
lot
need
of
a mid.
sense.
Ari
it
is up
still
and
leaves
available.
that
It's
room for
no, it's not. It
interpretation.
was
Where
banned out
is the
first
Annie
rotation.
going? Golden
Talia
Guardians
though
make
is
the
going to be
decision
their
at the last
pick up
moment.
Yeah, clearly
here.
what Golden Guardians has done here is
Gonna
say,
be
hey, our mid
trying to
jungle
roam
team
around
is
the
very
map.
important, so
And
as we see
Brolaf
potential
is open.
blocking here of the Olaf.
Oh,
I don't
Golden
think
Guardians are
that's
giving
in
last pick to
Ozzy's
their mid
playhouse
laner. That
though.
does speak to the Cassante though, like maybe you leave it up so you can continue to flex that between mid and
So,
top, because Licorice obviously
what
played the
will
Cassante
it
as well, but
be?
instead going for a simpler game
If that gets
here,
locked in, I'm
slam
kind
the
of
Poppy
surprised.
down, and get ready to give
I
Gory
think
a good 2v2
Gwen
matchup
would be
with
more
everything take, which has to
beneficial.
be the
It's
Talia.
actually going to be
Well,
nah. That's
pivoted
also
away from
a similar
just
sort
no
of
games
avenue
played on that one
if you
throughout
want to
the
be
year.
chipping
That
away
second
at the
most
Poppy health bar
is the Gnar, and now we figure out where does this Annie
from
go?
that range that
Would be
you
in the
can
bottom lane,
build for yourself.
probably leaning that way for
So
now.
Golden Guardians
But I
need
mean,
an
in
AP
terms of the
mid
drop, I
lane
mean,
here to get
not
some
playing
semblance of
especially in phase
damage.
two the way we were anticipating.
Or
You
they
like how
put
it's rounded
Annie
with
in
the
mid
Talia and the
and
Gnar
go for an
from
engage
PSG.
pick support. Like Nautilus is still left open,
I mean,
but if that
think
gets
I
locked
would've
in,
preferred
it's instead
Olaf.
just going to be Alessandra to mid lane.
Lysandra, okay. So
Draft
typically
as a
when you're
whole right
drafting
now
Sejuani, you want melee champions that can better
has
enable
been
them,
a
right?
bit
Her passive better works with things like
all over the
Sylas,
place, I will
with
have
things
to
like
say,
Olaf, and I
by
think that in terms
both
of having a
teams.
strong
It's
top
not
side,
that
that would mean a lot of sense.
standard setup
PSG,
that
by
we've
going for
seen.
the Talia and the Gnar
From either
in the
side,
second half,
as PSG have a
heavily
relatively
pivoted around and say we're not
speaking
top side, we're a bot side focused
Golden
team. We wanna
Guardians
make sure that we
looking
can play
draft,
through this
and
Lucian army, we
I
can
mean
get them
Golden
ahead,
Guardians have a
and
Golden
lot of that is
Guardians looking
gonna
draft.
work
It
off the back of
seems is
about getting Prowler in mid,
weird
leveraging
what the
that wall
picks
to be able to
PSG
roam
have been
down the
going
bot
for
side
in
and
this
crack
series so
dives.
far.
I'm
As
not
it's
a
not
massive fan
what
of
we've
this
seen them
answer,
play
because
or
I think
find
that
success
Prowler,
on
you really are going to
during
struggle.
the
In
other
terms of
best of
utility
threes
and in
they've
terms of the
played.
matchup, sure, it's great. You
In a
have
best
lot
of 5,
crowd control,
you get a chance
but
to
all of your damage
experiment.
then
You've
kind of
got
falls on the
2
responsibility
games
of stick save,
of
which in the late
safety
game could be
before you
problematic,
have to start winning.
especially when you have things like a Talia
Right now, coming into this one,
Yeah, it does speak to the fact that we're
what I
talking
will
about
say
PSG
is
on blue side liking a
there's
lot
a
of
lot
high
of
prio lanes. They do
safeness
have a lot of pushing lanes
on
here,
the
and they should
Golden
be able
Guardian
to
side
get
of the
out them
Rift.
and go bot lane. And we have
And
seen that Stixxay
on
has fallen behind a couple
PSG side,
times in these series, obviously in the L1,
certainly
but just last
wanting
game, again, Wako
to
having a
get
great time
aggressive
against
in that
lane
bot
phase.
lane.
feels like a bit
Lucian
of a
Nami
pull-in on that kind of
want to
gameplay
get
where you wanna
kills.
make plays happen around the
And I
bot
mean,
side of the map.
Zeriani is a
But I
very
do
hard
like,
lane to
how
go
much
in
pushing power
against to get
PSG
them
has, and
kills.
on this time around,
They do
Golden Guardians
have
to kind of
a
weather some of these
lot
early laning
of
struggles.
damage.
From a Golden Guardians perspective,
Now,
maybe hopeful
as
that PSG
things
will play the way
go
they have
on
for the
and we
majority of
get
the year,
onto
haven't
the
been
rift
necessarily the
for
most dominant
this second
of
game,
early game teams, not just reliable and
expectations
structured. I
are
think for Giorgio, though, I'm significantly happy
basically
on that Sejuani because with those pushing lanes,
survive
with
the
and with,
burst.
frankly, all of the
You
combinations
need to
has a
get
lot of,
ahead
tools
here
available
if
to
you're
him.
PSG.
Giorgio is one of the players
You want to
from a
survive
experience
the early game
matchup going into
because
River
you
on
look
that
at
Vi.
the possibilities
The
of
question is
ganks
now with the
out
role
from
somewhat
Golden
reversed.
Guardians
Game
here.
one,
Vi
very slow
will
out the
probably
gate,
be
very
passing
tempered,
bot
but
side.
it was PSG.
She did it game
ones
one,
that were being
or
pushed
River did
back
it game
slowly,
one,
slowly,
got
slowly.
behind you
Now they've
and
got the,
punished your Ezreal
priority in
karma
lanes. That means they
to
could
get
look for those
Stixay a
opportunities.
lead
Yeah,
and
definitely
some
feels like
kind of
junglers for both these
reassurance
teams
in
are
that
the
bot
engine
lane.
for a lot of the plays. Invade here from
Now,
Golden
right now,
Guardians, shoving
Yubao
off his
gonna be
point,
spotted
wanting to
out.
ward down early on. See potentially where Genji's
Threatening
no, just-
the
just
deep
threatening.
ward there is the Golden Guardians.
Wait,
And that's kind of clever
Didn't end up
because
dropping one,
there's
just
actually a
threatened the
ward down in this bot lane, so they know that Lucian's there, so they can play with safety.
Doesn't look like it. So I sent
Well,
you
it's
the
just I
message
see it
there.
on cooldown. So
But
Maybe initially went sweeper and swapped off.
essentially,
I'm not quite sure.
there's the deep vision ward from
Somehow
Gory.
Stixay- Oh, is in bot
Gonna
lane,
be
bot lane. There
on
it is.
the route
Oh,
again,
okay,
so
okay,
they can
where
track
is- you know
I
what?
where
swear there's a
It's the
Ginger
icon on
Giants
top of it. You
go.
can't see the ward in the minimap.
Okay.
It's not our fault.
It's not our fault.
PSG getting aggressive
First,
early. I like
person
it.
to get chunked just a little.
But Annie
When you
stepping
walk and
forward.
now being pushed backwards. I wanna see what
Doesn't
sort of
have the
lane
stun level 1
dominance
obviously.
and control
Goes for the
Lucian
molten
Nami
shield to
can
protect
generate.
herself and do
Have seen
damage
influence
that
from
way.
Waka already.
What I
Starting
will
to step
say
forward.
is
Elite is gonna use that ebb and
this
flow
bot
and
lane,
a lot of
once
aggressive
it
trade
hits
just at
level
level
2 and
Yeah,
3,
obviously Golden Guardians willing to walk up and trade.
you decide there's a
Love taking
lot of
level 1 with the auto attack
opportunities to
range of
go
Annie,
for
absorb
a
some of those trades,
all
poke back,
in.
but the sustain from Woody looking pretty good right
As
now.
who he is taking a lot of damage here.
We need to see if either of them
Chances are
next
it's
engage.
probably PSG going to go for that all in. Now, Sedge has been spotted out on her Raptors right now, whereas River, able to clear out his top side pretty freely, is pathing down to the spot
So
lane
in terms of the early laning
in
phases
comparison
now, keep
to
an eye
the
then
top
on
side
what PSG
pathing
can do. 'Cause
from
like we said,
Sedge.
they've got the ability to shove in,
Now,
have a lot of power to play with.
Junglers are clearing at a
PSG has
relatively
got to
even
sort of, bounce
pace.
back on that game one performance,
as
didn't really show up on the Kazakhs.
There's no real threat to
Comfortable here.
lanes right
Why not
now.
watch all three lanes at once?
Just standardized
About
trading
the
as
history
bot
for
lane
both
is being
these
pushed in
junglers.
by
Heard a lot about
Nazariani,
Gia being the
mid lane
sub-EDD
being pushed
jungler
in
and
by
brought in to kind of
Lissandra,
embody that
and
playstyle.
top side
For
Poppy
River, actually, he,
just
is a three-time
playing it
LCS
very
champion
evenly
with
against
PSG,
Nah.
made multiple
The
international
wave's going to
tournaments,
push
done
back
quite
into
well with them.
kind of
Gory, as
expected
recently as
level
last
1.
summer, was the mid laner for PSG, first in the regular season before having a bit of a collapse
So,
in the postseason. So it's probably
Jungle
a bit of a bitter
probably
pill to
is
swallow
where
for
we're
some
gonna
PSG
start to
fans
see
watching
some
to know
plays
ex-players of yours
as
going back to the LCS and
Vi
helping carry this
fully
Golden
cleared
Guardians
out
team.
her camps in the bottom half of the map, will step forward using the Scryer's Blooms on either side to ascertain control of the areas. Obviously, Talir providing a bit of safety to Junjai and the Sedge, secure the Scuttlecrap in the top half. Annie and Vi do the same on the bottom half, and so this affords, because of the speed of Junjai's clear, similarly with River, a chance to get in behind the enemy's jungle, put a bit of vision down, and essentially track their opponents a little bit more.
Boring is what you wanted to say. It's okay, guys. We're all honest here. Let's just say.
That's not the right word. The thing that I think is very interesting is that because we've been so we've had so much fun with like the chaos and the
top
the
side,
high kill
we're
games
panning up
throughout the
there
past
right
few
now.
days, it has baited
It's
into
interesting.
the fact that
It
in
should
tier
always
fives,
be a
they are
pushing
traditionally
match
slower.
in
something
favor
that
of
here's
the
what I will
Nah,
say, that for both
because
these teams, like, when you
range
look at some of
beats
the teams
melee
in the brackets,
every single day of the week. That's
T1,
a
very dominant
thing
early
you're
game
taught
team. Mad Lion,
early
a very
in the
aggressive
league,
early game team.
is
Cloud9,
how
like JDG,
range
there are all
does
these teams
wonders
that are more than happy to fight you in the
into
early game. And I'd like
melee
to see them
heavy
be able to, like,
picks, and
show me
Poppy
something a little bit more
kind of is
blueprint
there
in the early game.
just to
Really
be a
knowing the way that
frontliner
they
at this
draft it.
game.
Right
She
now,
isn't
it is
that
hard for them to
big,
find anything like
monstrous
level 1,
damage
2,
pick
when these level
that
6s
you
come
could
through,
expect,
I do want to see PSG
though I
threatening
expect
Dive Ball,
Licorice
drafted
to
in
go
a way
for
that
it
is very
by
much
Sundra.
around the around their
and
bot
just
side
have
of the map.
some
So I want to see them build
sort of
advantages.
damage.
Yeah, Junji is spotted on
But,
a wave coming down here as a wave comes in.
Possibly looking for a play here is Jundrai. Was spotted out on vision. And Annie kind of baiting him, stepping up into the river. Trying to force a play as a little bit of aggression out from PSG does mean that we're going to see Sedge give up on the play. Now, what we are seeing right now is kind of surprising, and it's Vice taking an early Drake, as PSG kind of are the ones who usually go for this sort of play, but the Drake is dropping below 1000 HP, it's on vision, Sedge goes in, but the smite is in favour of Vi, and that's flash burn for Jundrai to get out from it. On the other side of the rift, it's going to be the Talia, sorry, not the Lissandra, getting out to safety after the Lissandra gets on top of it with Glacial Path. Level 5 though for Gory right now in that mid lane means there's not enough lockup onto Talia to essentially make that play very much a first blood. But this is good from the Golden Guardians, getting an early lead, burning massive summoners for nothing. But Smite comes through there by River in time to secure the objective. And so, bot side, the flash forward from the Annie, the flames land onto Nami, is going to get the wacky Q out from River. That's first blood over to Stixay. And Golden Guardians, first 2 games have been first blood onto Woody, and Stixay has reaped the benefits every single time. Get this Zeri ahead and make it a living hell in the bot lane for PSG. As once again, Wacko forced back under his turret.
Opposite to what we were anticipating.
Top side. Great ultimate out from the Poppy. Not going to get hit by Nah. Just plays that perfectly. No dive can follow from it, as well as Mini Nah has been ascertained by Ozzy. And you know, this is just Golden Guardians' game. They're playing this well. Controlling the map very effectively. Herald has spawned, and Vi is already up there. River probably will go for that. As mid lane gets pushed in, Gory gets to roam up first to this objective. Sedge isn't even going to go to contest. She's bot side. River going to go over the wall. And Herald started in vision. That ward is in a tricky spot. Controller won't see it. Excuse me. Top side. Poppy getting taken low. She's running back down to her team. Sedge is here. Below 700 health is the Herald, just gets smited away. River didn't have smite up for it, but re-engage coming out from the Golden Guardians. It's 4 members here, and it's a kill over to Gory, as Jundrai does secure Herald, but he gives over his life in return.
It's in such a tricky position. I'm pretty sure Golden Guardians thought that if there was anything that would have seen the Herald's health,
a big play, to say least, this game is the kills in favor of Golden Guardians, but PSG just have been getting some more turret plates into themselves as it happens. So essentially, Herald is not free for GG here, as Vi doesn't have smite, so as it goes below the smite range checkmark point, Sedge is basically just going to walk forward and smite it no matter what. She does give over her life, to the Lissandra for it, which, if you're PSG, you're happy with. You get 2 stacks into the Dark Seal of Lissandra, but I would say you would prefer to pick up the Herald, because you kind of do need to get some tempo on the map.
I'm sure he's going to be going bot lane with these.
Eventually, the waves are no longer going to be pushed in by your team. Lucian Nami will get scarier with that culling, able to chunk people out. But right now, because Zeri and Lulu have had more in terms of lane pressure,
Solid play overall from the bot lane of Golden Guardians.
and basically more kills and KP, they're able to have a bit more eco and get these pushes in. River though, hovering in the bottom half of the map. I like it. He is essentially playing a very aggressive buy game, as soon as this Drake respawns, going back onto this objective.
Just a couple steps ahead for now.
Below 1000 health, will he lose it again? Will it get stolen? It doesn't look like it, as PSG back on up. And he obviously hovering over them all, ready to drop Tibbers on their heads if they overstep. And as such, PSG falling slowly more and more behind. Their late game scaling option that they've been playing for all tournament is possibly not going to work out for them here, as Licorice not going to be able to get
before the denial from Licorice.
It is in fact a very solid game coming out from
because usually you see the wall stun alt knockup combos
It
keep him locked
feels a lot more controlled by River in comparison to game 1, where there was just so much in terms of
but still gets himself a play.
this game is so much in terms of River getting into the enemy jungle, tracking where Junjai is, and not allowing him to get anything on the map. Now, what I will say is, this game, PSG's bot lane have been invested in a little bit more than what they were in game number 1. And as such, they're just in a better position than what we'd expect from them, considering the fact that Zeri did get first blood. She is, however, just...
Yeah, of course you want to see the
I don't
solo
know.
kills out of
It's
the
been less of
Lucian
an
Nami lane,
investment,
honestly
but
getting
more
involved,
so
getting
a
mythics faster, and then when you end up in the mid lane,
expectation
I think
of
Lucian Nami excellence,
Zeri just wins lane after 1 kill. And as such, PSG kind of are starting to find some strength, even though they're behind 2 Drakes. And this is weird, because it's kind of a flip of game 1 if you think about it. As PSG were the team that got to the early 2 Drakes, and Golden Guardians were kind of like, okay, well, we can't really, we have to contest this Drake and such, but PSG gave them up. This game, I don't know if we'll see that. We may see Golden Guardians just continue to stack the Drakes and do work that way, as second Herald up in a minute's time. I don't know if we'll see a contest out from Golden Guardians onto it, as they were content. I mean, they weren't content, they would actually try to kill it. But they would honestly like it, but I think that they're happy to give that one up and go for a play on this bottom half as flash forward from the buy, locks up Wacko on the turret. An easy and clean turret dive kills off the Lucian.
A little bit of a misdirection play out of Golden Guardians.
Golden Guardians don't appear to be done here with this play. TP comes through from Licorice, they're diving already. Tibbers gets thrown down, status pop by the Talon to keep herself alive, and that's a double kill over the Sedge in return. They're finally going to kill off the Talia, but the damage has been done. A triple kill over to Junjai. He is back in this one. Licorice going to be able to escape up to the top half. And PSG back in this game after
disjointed
a second turret dive goes awry
still relatively close,
for the
but some
Golden
more back in
Guardians.
pockets of PSG.
Quite the ambitious dive, I would say. After getting that initial pick, Golden Guardians thought that they could fight for more, but so much crowd control comes out from the side of Golden Guardians. This is where things start off. Huhi pops the heal early to try and help close the gap with the addition.
So turret dive 1, pretty clean out from Golden Guardians, and this will be where you back away, go and put pressure on the other side of the map, because look at Licorice, he's already pushed in the wave into the top lane, but instead, just over aggression, Licorice hadn't even TV'd in, he's finally here now, and killing off the Nami, the Copter.
They can follow up with this TP.
And I mean, in contrast to what we see
but
from
someone
Golden Guardians
does,
over the last few days,
and essentially
it's a little surprising
gets them
to me. I
out
think
to
they've had some pretty
safety.
clean dives. They've looked very
Yeah,
controlled and
as I was saying,
coordinated.
PSG
The fact
will
they
be
went
happy
in
to
before
get
this
this
TP
Herald
even
off of this play.
finished was absolutely
And look at the
detrimental.
goal lead.
It reminds me
Only
of, like,
Junjai is
Valorant
ahead
when
of
you
his
never wanna,
opponent. I mean,
fight one
a triple
before,
kill
right? You wanna take
over to a
isolated walls.
Sejuani
Yes,
will
that dive, that's
always
exactly what
do
it looked like,
wonders
right?
in
The
that
PSG could just
regard.
focus one target at a time.
Stepping forward though
And
is a
Gia, he feels
Sejuani,
very
gonna get
strong
locked
right
up
now,
by the
picking up
Anarchy.
Warmogs. You can see how much damage he's
Continuing forward,
tanking.
Vi lands a
Look at how
stun, and
many
that's the
members of
engage
Guardians are
from
focusing him down.
Golden
They do get
Guardians,
the kill.
shutting
For 2
down
seconds before
Junjai.
the
That was a
Dragon
bit
is up. They
aggressive,
just 5v1
not
him basically.
gonna lie.
Perhaps too much confidence there from Junior. Yeah, I was
That's
talking about how he's
surprising,
got to feel really strong
considering
right now.
the fact that
Face
he's just
checks
able to pick
into
a triple
multiple
kill.
members of Golden Guardians.
He
They
hasn't
find a
got
quick
that much
gives him the third
resistance
dragon as
to
well.
damage
Big
if you
overstep there
look
by
at his
Jinja.
build.
It's the
It's a
right
lot of
kind
health.
of idea where you want to absorb
Warmogs
some
just
damage
gets
with
health.
the Warmog's rush.
So does the
and heal
Barmy
up,
Cinder
especially with the
and
more
the
range
two
composition that he
Ruby
has, not having
crystals.
dive buddies.
There's
We
no
saw this actually out of him
defense
just
other
yesterday, I
than
believe
the
it was,
Merc
doing a
Treads
very similar thing with a
to
range
the
focused
amount of
position,
damage that
rush the
Golden Guardians
Warmog,
can do.
and then kind of just front
And so
line, face
Junjai
everything,
playing
heal up on the
a
tail end,
bit
but
too
Golden Guardians
over
take too much
aggressive,
damage, too much
gives
CP
over
available
Soul
to them
Point
to
for
actually
free
get everything.
to
By contrast
the
with
Golden
game
Guardian
one,
squad.
Guardians
Infernal
accelerating
Soul,
their,
obviously very
like,
impactful in
proactive
terms of the
plays,
damage that
aggressive
this
moves.
Golden
Three
Guardian
Dragons in
squad can
60
do as
minutes.
well.
They've already got
And
themselves that
I think
tower.
that's very beneficial
Applying
considering the
pressure.
fact it's
Sorry,
mainly
pressure. They lost the tower. They're
Gory
trying to
and
secure the tower in
Zeri,
the bottom lane.
or
I think
Stick
for
Say,
PSG,
that
they're
do damage
starting
for
to feel like
this
they're
GG
losing the
squad.
grip on the game. It's still
I
very,
keep
very
saying
close, of
squad
course.
as
It's been
bot
all
side.
Golden Guardians.
Great
This time round,
use of the
Mountain's
Glacial
gonna
Path to get
initiate.
away, but it
It's like
is
say
not
that
in
classic
time
curse
as
of no,
Nah
they managed to find the
secures the
pick.
kill
Great pick.
onto
River gonna
Gory's
be forced out of his
Lissandra.
bot side as Licorice secures a top
That being said,
tower.
top side,
But
Licorice gonna pick up a
Move
tier
out
1 for
throughout
himself.
the W,
That's
and
pretty
the ultimate
neato
actually
burrito.
knocked the Lissandra
But
into it, which acted as a
PSG
start
have
to
Herald,
then
they're always going to
guarantee
get
that
more
kill.
of a tempo
Great
play.
play there
As
from
bot
the
side,
PSG bot side as
so
they
they're
now threaten
pushing
to
into the
take
tier 2 with
No
Nah,
teleport for
and Harold's going to
Licorice.
crash into
Towards
mid
the
lane
top
tier
lane.
1.
He's
We'll
pushing
not
that inner turret. While
ascertain the
that's
turret
happening,
there.
bottom lane is
But,
being sieged just
yeah.
a little by
Licorice, though,
PSG.
still managed to get
Starts
tier
back
2
away.
pushing
Good
on his
pick
own.
there from the Talia.
But this play
Trying
still
to open
favours
up this map
PSG,
and
securing
make
kill
it
onto
a
Gory,
little bit more
get
risky,
themselves
especially
the
when you
tier
have that Talia to combo in.
Man, this game
1
is
in
like
the bot
dramatically
lane.
similar to the draft where everything was going against our
And
expectations for what would be
that's
happening
about
here. I'm
that
like, oh yeah,
for that
PSG's gonna have all
play
this
for them.
cryo,
And
and they're gonna be the
that's
ones,
a
you know,
good way
getting all this
to
dragon stacking early on, playing
keep
around
the
Lucian,
game
not the case. Golden Guardians
close.
bot lane ends up
The
winning.
game
Now they're
still
stacking dragons,
somehow has a
and it
gold lead
feels
for
like
PSG,
has gotten the better
even though
hand
the
on
Drake
the
sack has
Heralds and the
been
actual gold swings there.
accrued
I mean, in
by
my opinion,
Golden Guardians.
PSG have been
You then
finding
realise,
advantages off of the mistakes of Golden
item-wise,
Guardians.
there's a slight advantage to
Outside of that, Golden
PSG.
Guardians have been the primary driving force in
But
this game.
damage
They were
may
the
be a
ones that set
bit
up-
skewed
they've been
due
first
to
on
the
every
fact
single objective
that
outside
there
of the
is
second Herald. They have been the
Infernal
ones that
Drakes
the first
and
Herald
Hex
was stolen
Drakes
from them
in
because they
play
didn't
for
have
the
the
Golden
smite.
Guardians.
They conceded a bunch of kills bot because
So,
they were the ones initiating the dive.
realistically
I feel like overall,
speaking,
this has been Golden
the next
Guardians'
fight
game, and
is
PSG
gonna be
just been
close.
trying to find
Either
windows
way,
that Golden Guardians have overstepped.
It's,
Golden Guardians
it's
game,
just
win
going to
or
result
lose,
in a
basically.
lot of
And
damage.
2 minutes 50 until
My
the next round.
side,
That's the
and
Soul
Junjai,
as well.
I think
PSG have to contest.
the
So we keep
builds
an eye on the vision.
so
Are they,
far,
aware? Are they
if
setting up for
once
it?
if he was
Are they
involved in
ready?
killing
I
this
just wanna see
turret,
how they handle the
which
team fight.
as
I
soon as he
don't know
goes
if
over
they
the
potentially
swall,
dive a level
he
13
would be.
copy, but I think for Golden Guardians, can they secure
Then
that Soul? That will be a gigantic
you'd have
last fight
to
this early in the
admit
game.
The only other thing I wanted
that
to mention is
essentially
Golden Guardians steal away this red buff.
this play
Full
would
damage
be
for
worth
Gory.
it
We
for
talked about
PSG.
how in the draft I was concerned concerned
Now,
about Stixxay being the only damage dealer. As a
top
TP
side,
top.
TP gonna come in from Gory as mid. The Cullen gets thrown out. River is chunked out low. Top half of the fight. Talia is gonna fall to Lissandra. TP though was burnt by Guardians, and that's kind of an issue because
finding a pick off in the downtime
that
between
removes
neutral
one
objectives.
of
I
your
like seeing the
flank
aggressive play
avenues
kept up,
for
but
the
it did cost him,
upcoming
like you
either
said,
Baron
teleport, and in
or
the meantime, River
Infernal
lost his
Drake
flash in the mid lane,
fight.
will not be back available.
So
out of those long cooldowns
from what we're seeing right now, Golden Guardians are finding small little picks that give them kind of this goal difference over the last few minutes. But it's a lot of a seesaw effect this game, as the goal lead's only just been picked up. What I will say is Zeri's going to have a bit of an easier time right now to clear out waves with the Hurricane picked up for herself, as Sedge goes forward yet again. Junjai playing with a lot of aggression. Cleanse is burnt out by Lucian. And that's bizarre. I mean, I get you have Warmogs.
Oh, River gets spotted out on his recall, gets interrupted again. He was trying to recall before Junjia went over the wall there. Then he had a funny angle
overstepping in some regards.
In case PSG steps too far forward,
the entirety of Golden Guardians were in that brush, Junjai was dead yet again. This play, it's just Licorice getting on top, knocking up the Talia. Honestly, could have been a solo kill. Gory comes in to get the kill and give over an assist goal to Licorice. So they're sharing out the eco pretty nicely there, Golden Guardians, onto their solo laners. Now, what I will say is, this bottom half of the map, you look at the vision set up by GG, they're ready for an Inferno Soul fight. As good dodge, breaking the ankles coming out from there by Vi, but she's gone way too deep. She's under turret. She's not gonna do much as Poppy launches an army out to fight. Now without a jungler. Golden Guardians, 10 seconds left until the spawn of the Drake. Can you contest this? I don't think you can. 20 seconds left on River's respawn time. They're still stepping forward.
It's Golden Guardians' turn.
Won't win this fight here, as on the top half of the fight, Gory has been caught out, flashing away to safety. Nah has megged out. Drake started. GG. Just gonna push mid. Makes sense.
Very touch and go there. Golden Guardians feeling like they're trying to mitigate what was already a
now watch how they're playing. They've got vision set in this choke. They're looking to catch out a member. In fact, the member they've caught out is the Sejuani. Is very tanky, just dropping to half HP. But here is River returning to the play. As a step forward, that's the calling used. Tibbers lands perfectly, stunning up that Wacko, and he's going to die to the Glacial Prism from the Lissandra. Follow up under the turret as Vi goes deep, turret's down now, and the follow up kills come through. That's a 1-for-1 trade as Sedge kills off Lissandra and Na dives to the Vi. But Golden Guardians continuing to pressure on as they're taking out the Tier 2 turret.
Golden Guardians skipping steps in the play.
They may not have gotten themselves the Infernal Soul here. Look at where they're turning. Straight towards Baron. Clear out the vision here that PSG had. And this should be a free and easy prize for them if they wanted it. But yeah, essentially this starts off. River gets caught out here, dodges the bubble and the Glacial Prism. And yeah, Gale Force plus the dash from the Lucian puts River under the PSG turret, and so the turnaround for the Drake comes through. Then here, just watch what Wacko does. Essentially dash forward, culling, but the flash Tivers from Huhi locks him up. Then Lissandra's ultimate kills off Wacko when he comes out of status. Double status out from Lissandra, gets hit by the bubble eventually, and Sedge cleans that one up. But it's just clean out from the Golden Guardians. That's a better dive that we want to see in comparison to what we saw earlier. As the re-engage comes through, Vi on the backside getting on top of the carry as Talia falls. It's a trade 1-for-1 as Sedge gets the kill onto the Annie, and Tibbers falls as well. But here comes Licorice, gonna get on top of the Wacko. He is not gonna fall though. Instead, he's getting out alive and is running under his turret. Dash forward. Licorice has not stepped too far forward. He's able to run away with steadfast presence. PSG possibly biting off more than they can chew, as Golden Guardians turned straight to Baron after Licorice kind of stepped way too far forward in his own sentiment.
Still can't comprehend if this is good
Now,
or bad.
It's bad.
heading into a choke point is PSG, and you have to think Baron has taken the health bars quite low onto the Golden Guardians lineup, so they're just dissuaded from killing that one off.
And it is
But
not
6-8
playing out
pans
the way
back
we
down
were
to mid
Surprised
lane,
that
can
they
push
even
that out with
started
the
a fight.
Hurricane.
It's like, we didn't get the context as to how that fight even kicked off.
The game
also, Junjia throwing out the ultimate onto
feels
Glory,
very
who then responded with a
close.
stopwatch,
It's
and then Wako was
gone
able to get away
quite
with
a
sliver
long
of health. Licorice
distance,
diving
but
underneath the towers,
with
and
a
Baron
minute
being
50
started.
on the next
An interesting
Drake,
series of events
you have to
between the
think
two teams, but
that's
we're
where
in
we're
the
going to see
mid-game where
the
it's a
next
lot
big
more
team
chaotic.
fight.
Both teams
It's
don't really have firm control
insane
over the map. We're in a very neutral
what
state.
has been
Let's have a look
happening.
back
So
at how this one
this
started.
is essentially just using a status to avoid the Sedgel, and then the re-engage. Tibbers dropped down as already Licorice has been caught out, taken out. Wacko gets himself a kill. Glacial Prism goes wide from the Sedge. Now it's a kill over to PSG. They're able to push in this mid wave. Sedge just tanks his turret up. Not actually going to kill this one. This mid lane tier 1's been hanging on for such a long time. And so PSG get a kill onto Licorice. He's back up in 20 seconds. Does not have TP, so getting back to this Infernal Soul will be his main priority, as this finally falls to mid lane tier 1. And that is going to do wonders for PSG as it opens avenues into chokes.
It's the Junjia show, I'll tell you that right now. He sees an opportunity,
So,
he's throwing that ultimate out, and he is not afraid
that
to
being
do so.
said, time to
PSG
take
have
a
definitely
check-in
woken up here in
on
the big game.
items.
And it's definitely
And
a game
gonna be
that can still
honest,
go either way.
Radiant
I don't see a
Virtue
clear
Vi
favorite right now. Of course,
is
Golden Guardians with the Dragon
the build for
have a prime win condition.
Gory.
And this is going to be the objective that they are first to once again. Gory pushing out
Gory.
the bot wave.
For
Can
River,
go for
I
a quick
can't
base if
read
he wants
people's
to
names, it
maybe spend a
appears.
little bit more gold, has the TP
And so
available.
he's going to be able to heal up through a lot of the bursts. He presses that ultimate and goes in. He's going to be pretty damn tanky, especially for the Black Cleaver to sunder his targets. It's going to be quite hard, but here we go. Drake is on the table. River's gone charging in onto Nah. That's a great poppy ult, knocking away the Sejuani. They're going to just burn it here, Golden Guardians. Watch Licorice, he's going to have to try and stop the Sedge. He goes over the wall, knocking him away. And that is going to be Infernal Soul over to the Golden Guardians. And Gory trades his life for that objective. Shut down though, goes over to Wacko. But here is Zeri, she's firing in. The charge forward from the Vi, going to lock up a target as the first kill. Goes over to Zeri. And the second kill, Poppy picks that one up. And here it goes. Rat-a-tat-tat, double kill over to Stixay. Make that a triple. Will it be the Quadra? Yes, it will. As Golden Guardians ace out PSG around the Baron. And here it is. They're going to secure this one for themselves. This game feels like it's over now. As a big purple worm buff gets
Licorice keeper verdict was fantastic. The step up present,
don't know why I'm casting
buying
this.
enough time and
Feels weird
delaying the Baron
doing
as
a
the
cast
voice
on
wants to
this
make sure he gets
game.
the buff as well. That's
I'm
beautiful to see, especially
pretty
because he's also got that
surprised
teleport available.
by
Fantastic
how
play once
well
again from
Golden Guardians put his fight. So essentially,
And they do
Poppycopter.
everything in
Boop.
their power
Bye-bye,
to
Sedge.
stop
Now,
Junjia
look
from
how
getting
quickly
into the pit.
Golden Guardians turn to this
They
objective.
do what they
Weaver's
can,
Wall
and you can see here
kind of
they use
forces
the
them
keeper's
to do it
verdict
as well, as
initially
there's no
to get him
escape.
away from the fight,
Colin
but
gets
then the
thrown out
flash
onto
over from
Gory.
Licorice
He
to
goes
buy as
forward
much time
with
as
Tibbers,
possible.
and essentially he
Steadfast
does get
presence
caught
prevents
out,
Junjia from
but
dashing over the
he
wall,
does
doesn't
that
have the
so
flash
that
available.
there's no
And then
way
Gory
in
sacrificing his
for
life to make
PSG
sure
to try
the
and
objective can be
contest
secured,
the
and then Stixay
Golden Guardians lineup and
unleashes
take him down
off the back
low.
of a great
Now with
engage from
Infernal
River.
Soul powering up this Golden Guardians lineup, they're able to just chunk through the health bars with Zeri's splash damage from the Hurricane, from her ultimate, just doing so much work. It gives over the Quadra and the big purpley worm, as I say. Now, waves are going to be forced in to these tier 2s.
And I gotta say, while it has not been the cleanest game of all time,
And
Golden Guardians are showing a level
PSG,
of aggression that you don't always see out of North American teams. Where they sometimes play a
you
little bit
were
slower
in a
pace.
dominant
They're
position,
afraid
but I
to
have
flip
to
objectives,
say,
but that is not the
that
case
last
with GG.
fight, Licorice played it off well as the Glacial Prism lands. That's a knockback, seismic shove pulls River into a lot more damage. He's very low, but re-engage. Zeri looks to have been caught, never mind. Gory goes forward, locks up and kills off Wacko as PSG have bitten off more than they can chew. Poppycopter will not be fired off. Stixay just gets to clear up the wave, life stealing up. Weaver's Wall pushes the minions into a bad place. There's 3-4 minions getting taken over to this mid lane. This just extends the mid lane push for Licorice. He's going to be ever so happy about that one. Another wave crashes in. Golden Guardians recognize what has happened. Gonna secure themselves the mid lane tier. Oh, well, inhib turret. The tier 3. And that's huge for GG. I can't say a misplay from PSG, but it certainly feels weird as the Poppycopter launches 2 out. There goes the second inhib turret. The Golden Guardians gonna back off with 30 seconds on this
number of
Baron.
ultimates that were down for Golden Guardians made it so that they could not continue to press forward, looking for that
game
inhibitor. Like you said, 2 inhibitor turrets dropped.
has gone longer comparative to game 1, but the control that PSG wanted to ascertain just has not been there since the 15-16 minute mark.
I feel like that in both games
As
he's playing incredibly well.
just
Lane control,
PSG
mitigating what Yubao can do on
kind
that,
of
his impact in the team
had
plays, the
an
fact that he
advantage
did
with
automating
Jinjai
River
on the Sedge,
consistently, especially when we
getting
look back at that
kills.
very last skirmish that we
Top
saw
side,
against
Nah
them.
has been
Golden
caught
Guardians
out.
found another
Poppy
pick
has
from
the Divine Sunder. She's just going to do a lot of work. River gonna use a Q to lock down the Nah, and that's an easy kill over to Licorice. Now top lane tier 2 is in the sights of Golden Guardians. They're just gonna group up as 4 members because they know that one member is down on PSG's side. River goes aggressive. He's gonna lock up Wacko. Is gonna be taken out by the Hurricane Blast from Zeri, and the chase down from Golden Guardians. They're looking to end this one here. A double kill over to Stixay. Inhib in the mid lane is their target. Gonna take this one out. Bye-bye to this Nexus is what Golden Guardians want to do. Game 2 falls in their favor, and it's looking like they're going to go for a clean sweep, diving the turret at Nexus as well. Gonna secure the ace on the fountain, and boom. Game 3 is in our sights with Golden Guardians playing it well.
Interesting game to watch. Also a very tense,
Clean
slower paced
performance
game.
as a whole.
Ultimately, Golden Guardians have had better
We've
team
got a
fights,
third
they've been
game
able
to
play
go
the game
through
better.
now.
I think in this game they
I'm ready. Hopefully it's on here. It is. It was up an hour ago. So, yeah. Game 1 went pretty easily over to Golden Guardians, as well as Game 3. There was a bit of a scary spot, but that's didn't happen. And as such, we're here. Third game. Clear control over the Golden Guardians.
This is what I would have expected.
What do PSG do here? Because
seeing how PSG kind of developed and grown,
it feels
But they win.
like a
And
heavy
they have
draft
confidence,
diff.
they have unique picks.
I've said it about a lot of these
Let's see if
series.
Golden Guardians can close it out, or
It's
if
the
PSG
draft
can make
that's
the comeback
kind
a
of
reality.
been
Rakan will be taken off the board.
the issue
Once
for these
again,
teams.
it is a
PSG,
Diego now being taken
I don't
away.
think
Last
have
game we saw
shown
PSG adopt
good
the
drafting
strategy of
this tournament.
targeting Goran.
Because
Now
of their
it's LeBlanc
style
or
that they've
Ari
been
maybe
playing
left
being
up
so
now.
slow,
Same as game number 2,
controlled,
and
and boring, low KPs, they're not able to like showcase explosive picks like Cannon, like Hanny. They've just been kind of left in no man's land with these. We're just gonna scale up and beat you folks. And I think knowing how this game plays out, I'm probably gonna skip through this one in comparison to what I've done for the rest of it, because this is,
I feel like their drafts have these like little tweaks you can do for improvements. It hasn't been perfect, but if I'm looking for anything, it's more in-game. I have been somewhat disappointed at Waco's performance. Both games have had critical mispositionings, using mobility spells forward at key moments and then dying on the tail end of them. I feel like he was someone who has been so good.
We'll break it up like this.
And has had these moments. He used to have...
Gonna pause it. There we go. Essentially, this game is a similar story to the past few, where there's ups and downs and ups and downs. PSG had a lead that they threw away here. I mean, yes, I'm using graphical elements to explain how it turned out, but the issue with their draft is you look at what Golden Guardians drafted. That's where we need to look at this. Essentially, this guy doesn't care how late the game goes. He can just buff up his team to have an extra scaling factor that these guys don't get. River, he's built tanky. Anathema's changed as well. Means that this Jinx and or basically one of the two carries becomes useless. Gory as well makes a carry useless with Anathemas. It's just the fact that this is a one-prong attack. You got then 3 bulky members. Like, that's how Golden Guardians played this. They didn't care if they're losing, like, solo lanes, they didn't care. It was just basically, as long as Stixay does well, this game is then over. And while, yeah, Wacko was able to keep up in farm, slightly, it still felt dominant from Stixay. And I mean, 10-1, and the 1 is on the fountain, diving for a pentakill. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to this 23-minute fight. I believe it's 23 minutes that the fight happens. Timeline, that's what I want to look at. Yeah. It's 22 minutes-ish. Yeah, let's go to the 22-minute fight.
Have them in his past.
That's all we really need to see.
It is now or later
This
in the
game.
Day. We will have that bracket stage draw
Because
show during the...
And serve him up for the rest of the team. If Junji
As
is
a
running
whole,
in alone, pressing R.
Guardians have pretty much conceded all control.
The name of the game for Golden Guardians here is just to catch you out and use your bulky members. So the setup is just Shrelius gets popped from PSG, and so there's no like movement extra buffs to them. Golden Guardians have been playing the Drake game this game yet again. It's a bit slower than game 1. They've been controlling it. So we're going to get a fight around this Drake. And yeah. Essentially what PSG want to do is get on behind with Azi. Use Zinar to knock up as many targets. But when you've got on Golden Guardian's side of Rift 3 different picks that do... I move myself down there. 3 picks that can just tank. River is always going to be near Drake, so he can secure that. Gory and Licorice can kind of path off in certain aspects. Licorice is more likely to be the one in the front line because he can do... Well, he has an AoE stun with that ulti. Similarly with Maokai. So they can combo them together. So Gory kind of makes the most sense to be on this flank route to try and get him behind. And so having him here to kind of protect Stixay on the flank is also a good position. And he does well. Essentially, Meganar gets forced. And he uses his Q3. I think that, if I'm right, that stops the jump. No, he just gets hit by the Q3 and then ulted by Gory.
Charging up which is going to be the focus.
And so, essentially, Na is focused while Huhi dies on the top half, unable to throw tippers. So, in this situation,
tried to buy time.
If Ozzy's able to escape, then this is a good point for PSG. However, River flash Qs to slow down Ozzy and then go away. Try and steal away the objective he's just given up.
Drop down just a second.
But yeah, shut down over to Gory means that he gets a bit of gold back, and so that gold disadvantage that PSG have put Golden Guardians in slowly diminishes. While yeah, Drake gets stolen away, big deal. Doesn't really mean too much. The re-engage from GG is so good. They target out Junjai as he is kind of the jungler. Baron is up on the table, so you always want to go for a follow-up play on a Drake fight. It always seems to be that thing where you go for a follow-up play around this objective, because you don't care if you lose this one if you're Golden Guardians. You just want to fight. So you lock up this Vi, who is probably the most mobile carry or member on the PSG side, and you're also trying to force the Lantern out, because if Lantern gets used, then there's no safety tools for either of these two carries, the two-pronged attack that PSG have set up for themselves. Now, what we do see down here is a TP coming in behind the PSG lineup, and that's Gory. Because the way he died, he placed a ward over this wall and then got caught out because the vision for PSG was quite good. And so here we go. Root onto the Vi. She's going to be immediately targeted. She's forced to flash. Top half, we've got Gory here. He is still all out, so he does a bunch of damage if he gets on top of you. Licorice flashes forward and East knocking up the Syndra. That's the big carry, kind of taken out of the play here. Whereas Gory is killing off the Vi in all out. And so, pause here again. Status forced onto Syndra means she doesn't really get to participate in this fight. She's pretty low, whereas Gory and Stixay do. And so you just look at Stixay's damage choice. He's trying to kill off the Syndra here, who gets basically insta-W'd by River, chasing her down. The Q comes through from River as he gets Scatter of the Weak. Actually, he flashes it appears. Maybe not. But, yeah, essentially, Scatter of Weak comes through, and Yubao gets hit by the Q, as I say, which means that he's very low. Now, this position, PSG are thinking, okay, we have Wacko very healthy. It's basically a 1v1. Because Junjai is trying to kill off Gory. Doesn't. He's nowhere near. In fact, he could have honestly queued Stixay for the re-engage. But Stixay's free firing. Manages to get, I believe he has Hurricane at this point. Kill off Yubao.
Has got the damage, but Stixay is
there's the Immortal Shield Bow procced. Meaning Stixay is pretty easy to kill if you full 3-man dive. And I think, or 2-man dive, Wacko could flash the wall. Yet, I think the way PSG play this fight is pretty bad.
He's got the shield.
Because Wacko could honestly have flashed the wall to his team. Vi is charging it up.
Forward and will
doesn't hit Gory, so he is next to full. And honestly, that fight was played on an edge that was so big that essentially Golden Guardians get all the right picks without losing. It's unfortunate for PSG because if you get that, that would certainly have meant Baron. But I just think there was a bit of nerves
so close.
Not playing to your
Golden
limits.
Guardians come out on top.
It's a very drawn-out fight, but Golden
definitely have
Guardians will
killed
walk
off
away
6-8
the victors. Now
with
they have the
that fight,
Baron in their eyes as
but
well. River
you
is still
misplayed
alive.
it a little.
Their smite is available.
And so
and
they
just
get
like
away
that,
scot-free
Golden
here.
Guardians have
Golden
blown
Guardians
open the game.
and
You
get
can
to
see
take Baron
Aja looking for that
due
flank,
to
but
the
Golden
response
Guardians
of
identify
Licorice.
they have to be aware of that. They go to focusing down, and during that time,
So
I like the idea of PSG to just burn the dragon and try and escape, but a very heads-up teleport
yeah,
by
Baron
Gory
goes over to
into the
Guardians.
middle of the lane.
I just want to
stop them
see
from having
where all of Wacko's shots go in this fight, because that's quite important. He does have ult.
easy escape. Here you can see it again.
So,
they start the dragon
rockets
off.
into
Gory goes hunting for Aja,
ward.
finds him, flips him back, and ultimately
They catch
say, hey, this
out
is the guy we need to mark.
Huhi.
While Huhi getting picked off on the side.
Oh, that's... he uses rocket onto the Annie.
Gets chain CC'd by the side of PSG. The kill
I
gets
mean, I don't think it was necessary in that situation to use it there. But it certainly would have helped if he had it for display.
handed over to
Because it's
Wacko
just
as
a
well. and you think at this
4v5
point, this
technically until
is definitely a winnable fight for PSG.
fire alarm goes
The
off and
flash
it's
committed from River
4v4.
as he immediately turns back towards the dragon. A good stun
Then the Drake goes over.
comes out from Yubao.
The
But then
re-engage.
GG with the re-engage with the TP flank.
So many long game
Jesus,
range
someone
engage
really
tools,
needs to learn
the
how to
Ornn
cook.
ultimate, the Mal
So, Wacko's firing into Gory.
ultimate, and then Gory with that TP flank, making sure there's no way out. They're able to get
He's repositioning.
on top of Yubao there. His flash
Now he's
already
firing into Licorice.
And look at this as well. You'll see in a second. Stixxer
Wow.
gets
Maokai, he is very indecisive on his targets, it seems. If he's able to just stick onto one, possibly could win the fight winner, therefore, PSG, but Wacko is firing pretty sporadically at all the frontliners.
CC'd, but then the hook
So the Scout of the Week lands onto Zeri,
is just short.
and he's focusing Gory. I would have preferred if he went straight onto Zeri and not Gory.
From Wacko.
Oh.
If that had
Vi honestly misplayed the Q. Should have really gone on to the Zeri. If PSG did dive
connected
headfirst
how
into
different
Zeri
could
there,
this fight have gone
would
as Stixxer is
definitely
now
have
left
resulted
alive.
in her
Wacko
death.
forced to
But
flash.
instead,
So many low health bars. The
it's
juice
just-
resets were so close.
I held
but it
my
just wasn't
breath.
enough damage.
I held my breath, Betty, because it was so
Unfortunate.
close to Wacko. Getting
It's just
unleashed, getting
poor targeting.
unstoppable.
And
as we
once
jump
again,
back to
Zeri
life, Golden
gets
Guardians, they've already
another
initiated
kill.
the fight underneath the inner turret.
Jinx
Remember,
gets
they got
caught
this
out. That's
Baron and
something
Power
I
minions to
said
work
quite
with, the
a
double
bit in
kill
this series
for
is
Stixxer.
Wacko getting caught out.
Red Bull, Baron,
I
Power
mean,
players
granted,
off to a fantastic start.
They're
Golden
diving
Guardians
the
are
tier
diving
two.
the tier
Split up.
2.
PSG cannot stand toe-to-toe with the Golden Guardians.
They were
yeah,
diving the
it's
tier 2 without having even secured the tier 1. Golden Guardians
weird
are using all this momentum
misplays
to tear apart PSG's base with
as a
Wacko dead. Will
whole
they try and end
from
the game?
They might just do it. Golden Guardians are making the run through
PSG.
play-ins to bracket stage.
That's
They've
just
opened
giving
up the
me in
mid-inhibitor.
for
They
Golden
will
Guardians
secure
to
this
win
in
it.
a moment. 10 seconds for
And, I
Wacko,
mean, we'll watch the
13
rest of the
for
game out.
Junjia. Throughout the course of these 3 games, it has been a controlled one. It has been a
We'll skip
patient
through
one.
to- Yeah, it does seem weird how this game is played as a whole,
Inhibitor.
because it's just
Ori left unchecked on the bottom with Archie's
PSG
Mega
lose that
slowly
fight and
burning
then
through. That
the
is
game's just
big window.
Golden Guardians controlled
Difficult to
heavily.
play around. Golden Guardians happy with
I
it so
will
far.
say
A minute 20 still on Baron.
misplays have
bringing the
cost
conga line towards
PSG
the top
this
lane.
series.
We're using the footwork
in some regards.
No flash for Huhi.
But yeah, this play is just using Malkyle to get push into his turret, crack that open. They think they've caught out the Cassante, and it's a good pick overall, because that's one less frontliner, but Wacko, so it's way too far forward. He thinks he can free fire in, but Stixay's just able to clean him up easily. Kill after kill, triple kill,
and Hubo and Haji is caught on the wrong side of his wall.
Quadra.
That's a quadra. Will it be another pentakill?
And
4-6 in the second of the tournament.
pentakill.
Looking for Ubao.
What I do think happens here is Stixay's trying to go over the Nexus, and he misses the actual dash. Right now, that's a good scatter, and he's unable to stun up. Flash to avoid the knock from Yor.
Will not be able to do it just yet. Needs more time, needs more damage. Tries
Stixay almost gets it, but
yeah,
the game ends. Unlucky.
They
PSG in
won't
some
find the
regards.
second pentakill for
But good
Stixay,
plays
but they
from
will
Golden
move
Guardians to
on.
capitalize on
Golden
it.
Guardians, the second seed from the
It
LCS,
surprises me that
advance to the main stage
it
of
ended
MSI.
like that.
Stixay wanted to
But
win at
it
first, then he
also
wanted the
doesn't
penta.
surprise me.
The rest of Golden Guardians wanted the penta at first,
yeah.
then they wanted the win, but ultimately
I'm now going to go away and prep for best of fives for the second
A convincing
part of
performance from the
MSI,
LCS second
the actual
seed.
bracket stage.
And they will
we've got
join their
quite a few
brothers
games, I
Cloud9
do know them. I'm going to
in
make
the
my
bracket
prediction
stage with the other
in the
Titans
video, hopefully.
waiting.
So I'll see you then.
Looking good. Most North American
Probably
fans
coming out tomorrow.
online very
when I
happy with the performance
just
of
had some
Golden
time
Guardians
to relax,
thus
you know.
far. The only games they dropped were to
It's
the
been
LG, the
non-stop
second
league
seed from the LPL,
for
and
me
even
for
then
the
were
past
able
few
to take one
days.
game off them.
I'm pretty happy about
Very
that, but
promising
yeah.
stuff
Thanks
out of
very
this
much
squad.
for joining me today.
Surprising people
Hope
for
you
an
enjoyed
organization that
this
had never made it to international
breakdown,
play
kind
before.
of
Of course, based on the end of their playoff run,
See you guys for the video tomorrow.
How they match up.